Up. Right.
Would you like a sprinkling of granola on your bran flakes this morning, Robert?
Robert peers over the top of his newspaper.
Houston.
Sorry, what?
Would you like a sprinkling of granola on your bran flakes this morning?
No, thanks.
Only I forgot to buy sugar yesterday. I thought it might make the bran flakes taste a little sweeter for you.
Oh, okay then. I'll give them a try. We did put first class stamps on Mum's card, didn't we?
Oh, hold on. That's yes, there were stamps on the envelope, Robert. It would have added insult to injury if she had to pay the post office fine for her birthday card arriving late, don't you think? Notwithstanding the upset it caused when she opened the bloody thing. Her stamps aren't really the issue anymore, are they? I just wish I hadn't sent that stupid card.
Yeah, but they were first class, yeah.
Does it really matter what the card had, a first or second class stamps? Surely it's the card that's the problem. And its front cover's depiction and wording, not the bloody stamps.
Yeah, but I did ask specifically for you to get first class stamps, Susan.
Robert, are you really listening to me? The stamps aren't the issue anymore. But even if they were, unless first class stamps have time travel properties, something I suspect they haven't, then your mother's birthday card will still have been at least a week late, no matter what class of stamp we stuck on the envelope. But I repeat, why are you so anxious that the card arrived with first class stamps? I would have thought you were praying the card hadn't arrived at all.
Hey, look, I know. But what I also know is she would look carefully at that envelope, and if she sees we've sent out with a second class stamp on it, she'll think we didn't give a damn about how late her birthday card was.
I think the class of stamp will pale into insignificance when she opens the envelope and sees the card we've sent.
Well, maybe we should have told her not to open it.
What? Tell her, don't open your birthday card, Mum. She's going to listen to that advice, I'm sure. She's more likely to shut the thing in the bin unopened because it's so late. But telling her not to open it, curiosity would ensure she did the opposite. Then that would have made matters even worse.
Yeah, we could have warned her not to open it and explained it was an accident, and that we sent her the wrong card.
And that's going to stop her from opening her card, is it? Don't open your card, Mum. There's something we don't want you to see inside. I'm sorry, Robert. By the time I discovered the mistake, in all probability, she would have already received the card and opened it.
Do you think so? She hasn't called me about it. Maybe she's too upset. It's just such a devastating error to make, considering everything, you know.
I know. It was an accident destined to happen. I don't normally send Cousin Barry a birthday card, but I thought, because I knew he's just taken up fishing now he's retired, the card looked perfectly appropriate for him. Then I picked up Mum's card and I thought she'd like that one too. Tall shed on allotment. Still can't believe how I got the cards muddled up.
What, we sent her? Fishing you an happy birthday? What must she have thought? Why haven't we heard from her? She must be so upset.
I can't. What are you doing?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, hold on. Dad's got carried away with his clip.
Oh, steady on, Dave.
If you were so concerned, why don't you call her? Or better still, go round and see her.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe it did get lost in the post and she's just brooding that we forgot her birthday. Anyhow, what would I say to her?
You wouldn't have to mention her birthday card. You could just give her a call or go round there about something totally unassociated with her birthday. Just talk casual, conversation about anything. Anything but a bloody birthday card. You could have wished her a belated happy birthday and see if she reacted.
Yeah, I don't think I want to take the risk, Susan. What an awful mistake we've made.
Oh, well, you should have got off your backside and sorted your mother's birthday card out yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm not totally blaming you, Susan. I've just said what an awful mistake we've made. I hold myself complicit also.
Oh, well, that's bloody good of you. She'll recognise my handwriting on the card and totally blame me. You know she thinks her precious Robert can do no wrong. He definitely wouldn't have sent her a fishing you a happy birthday card.
No, I won't let that happen, Susan. I know this card business has been very stressful for the both of us, but I can't help but feel you seem even more stressed this morning.
Yes, I suppose I am. We'll just have to make her birthday supper on Wednesday a little special so that she'll forget the card. I suppose she could have chucked it in the bin because it was so late. and that's why she hasn't phoned to moan about it.
Well, perhaps she's just too upset to mention it.
God, I hope not. You don't think she's really upset, do you?
No, my mother, as I do. I'm pretty certain I would have heard from her if she'd been really upset. Or maybe she's just saving it until Wednesday, which she can give us both barrels, you know. However, that all said, are you sure there's nothing else troubling you this morning? As I said, will I take responsibility for the card if she mentions it?
Oh, sod the bloody card. Well, if you must know, I had a fretful night's sleep last night.
Really? You were pushing out these pretty good when I came to bed.
Just as I was dropping off, I received a text message from Stella, which really unsettled me.
But what does she want at that time of night?
Oh, it's got too far. Oh, she's not very happy in her new job. They did promise her front of house at the interview.
I thought they said eventually. She's been there for 2 weeks.
I know, but they put her in the sponging department.
The sponging department, whatever goes on in there.
It's where they do the sponging, Robert.
I gathered that. She works in dry cleaners. What, for God's sake, is she sponging? Sponging seems to be a bit on the moist side, not particularly dry.
I know, that's what I said. But apparently, before the dry clean, they have to sponge off any heavy stains before they soak the clothes in general cleaning solvents. It does sound like a nasty job.
But again, that doesn't sound particularly dry to me.
I said that too. But apparently, dry cleaning, despite its name, is not dry cleaning process, just not washed in water.
Right. So why the need for sponging?
Oh, don't you listen? I told you, it tackles the heavy stubborn stains first. They remove them before they do the more general cleaning. She said she spends most of the day sponging the crotches of men's trousers. The ticket usually says soup stain, but she has her doubts.
Oh, I see. Let's have a chat with her when she's here for Mum's birthday supper.
Okay, but not in front of everyone. She's very sensitive about it. You know how she is with stains at the best of times.
Well, maybe she should have given that more thought before she took the job in the dry cleaners.
I know. What? Where have you gone?
She would be.
But she thought she would be.
I know, front of house.
I think I'll invite Mrs. Jenkins on Wednesday.
Who's Mrs. Jenkins?
I'll clean her.
Oh, Betty, I never knew her surname. Why did you invite her?
Well, she's almost part of the family, and I thought she might give me a hand cleaning up afterwards. Save paying her to come in on Thursday to do it. You see?
Well, in that case, I might ask Stan if he wants to come, just to balance things up a bit. Maybe. My mum has met him at the allotment Christmas party. That was the Christmas before Dad died, you know.
Well, are you sure, Robert? He's okay, but a little out of his depth in our company, don't you think?
Well, you find me someone who knows more about greenfly than Stan, not to mention apple scab.
My point exactly. I'm not sure I, or anyone else for that matter, will want to talk too much about either of those topics at your mother's birthday supper. Okay, invite him, but just don't lumber in with me.
Just then, the kitchen door opens and a boy of about 20 walks in, dressed without his shoes or socks.
Mum, where's my socks?
Morning, William.
Morning, Mum. Morning, Dad.
Morning, son.
There are no socks in the socks drawer. It's empty.
I know.
I thought you might. That's why I'm asking you where they might have been.
I've put them in the box that you keep on top of your wardrobe, along with your contraceptives, Tutti Booty magazines, those skinny cigarettes, and those rather unflattering Polaroid photos of Annabelle.
Oh, bloody hell, Mum.
William leaves the room.
What the bloody hell are Tutti Booty magazines?
If you took a little more interest in your son, you might know.
Robert takes his bran floats and disappears behind his newspaper. The scene fades. We're now in the Harvey's Lounge dining room, and it's Wednesday, early evening. Richard and Susan's daughter Stella Foster and her husband Richie are sitting on the couch. Stella is thumbing through a magazine. Richie just sits there and looks a little bored. The trouble The table is prepared for the evening birthday celebration for Robert Harvey's mother's belated birthday supper by Susan. Stella closes the magazine and sighs. Stella closes the magazine. Oh, did you? Okay. She glances towards Richie, who ignores her. She sighs again a little louder. He still takes no notice.
Just what the bloody hell are you doing, Richie?
Richie jumps a little and stares at his wife.
What shall I say?
You just don't listen, do you?
Sorry, love, I didn't catch what you said. I was miles away. Tell me again. Come on, tell me again.
I didn't say anything.
What did I miss then? Come on.
Oh, nothing, just my life disappearing down the toilet. Splash, and there it sits, looking up at me from the bottom of the bowl. And there I stand, looking down at it, nothing left to do but flush it away.
How'd it get in the toilet?
Shit it out me arse, what do you think?
There was an awkward silence. They both sat looking at their hands.
Y'all seem a little bit,
Unfulfilled, unsatisfied, despondent, depressed even. Not that you would notice.
Well, you've got my full attention now, haven't you? What's up, Bab? What do you need? A new dress, is it? You broke? Oh, ironing board's broken, is it? What, is that getting you down? These things can be remedied, darling.
Stella stared at him with dangerous eyes. Richie didn't seem to read the danger signals.
I know, it's that new sofa we saw last week. I know, I said it was a bit out of our price range, but let's go and have a look at it again then and see if we can strike a deal with the shopkeeper.
No, it bloody isn't the bloody sofa.
Is it the chickens then? I've said I'm not too happy about having chickens clucking about the place, but if you've set your heart on it...
It's not the bloody chickens or the sofa. I've told you, Richie, it's my life. Look at my hands. They're all red and dry and blotchy and my nails look like shit.
Hand cream. How about we get some nice expensive hand cream?
Stella appears to be stifling a scream from somewhere deep within her.
I want what I was promised 3 weeks ago. It's not much to ask. After all, I promise is a promise. They should be honoured.
Richie looks a little worried. He desperately tries to remember what the promise was.
Right. 3 weeks ago, was it? And I promised you something, and clearly I've not kept that promise, have I? Oh, shit.
It wasn't something you promised, Richie. It was Cleanaway who made all the promises.
Oh, them.
Too right, it's them. I was promised front of house. I can do front of house. I can't do sponging.
No, I understand that.
I can handle. So you have some soiling in your husband's trousers. Let me see. Oh, it's in the crotch area, is it? How do you think? That's wow. What do you think it is, soiling? He told you he'd spilt his coffee on the train, did he? How unfortunate. We should be able to remove the coffee stain, but I'm afraid that if it proves to be something else, then results cannot be guaranteed.
Don't know why you do anything with Cleanaway, if I'm honest. Dealing with the public's unwanted stains. No, thank you.
I know, you are right. The Michelin star restaurants in Bromsgroves are few and far between.
Susan Harvey enters the room with the food for the table.
Give us a hand and fetch some food in from the kitchen, Stella. There's a dear.
Both Stella and Richie get up from the couch. Stella disappears in the kitchen. Richie paces idly round the table and gets in Susan's way.
Oh, out of my way, Richie, love. If this meal's not perfect, we'll never hear the last of it.
Sorry, Susan.
Susan comes over to the window. Oh, no, sorry.
That's Richie.
Go on, Richie.
There's a strange...
Richie goes over to the window and looks out.
There's a strange-looking bloke outside, just left leaning his bike up against your hedge. Now he's coming up the drive, Susan. Looks like he's carrying a box of tiny cucumbers and some beetroot.
Susan comes over to the window and gently pushes Richie out of the way.
Oh, bugger, it's Stanley from the allotment. Why Robert felt the need to invite him is anyone's guess. I knew he'd be the early one. Maybe if we pretend we're out, he'll go away and come back at the right time.
Too late, he's seen us.
Are you sure?
Well, who's he waving at then?
Oh, well, let him in, Richie. But you've got to keep him occupied. I don't want him wandering all over the place unattended. He's probably got mud and God knows what on the bottom of those gardening boots he's wearing. Make sure he leaves them at the door.
Susan disappears into the kitchen and leaves Richie preparing himself to open the door to Stanley. The doorbell chimes and Richie opens it.
Oh, hello, I'm Richie, Robert's son-in-law. I believe you must be Stanley, is it?
Hello, son. I am indeed. But cut the formalities. Just call me Stan. Or Spud if you prefer. That's what I'm most commonly known as Unlockment Bunch. Yeah, that's right.
All right. So is that because you grow a lot of potatoes, is it?
Well, I've never grown a potato in my life, lad. No, it probably more to do with the state of my socks, if I'm honest.
And okay, well, come on in then, Stanley. I mean, Stan, or Spud.
But yeah.
Richie opens the door wider for Stan to enter, and both men ignore Stanley's muddy boots. Stan carries his vegetables and a gift wrap package.
Right enough. Here, I bought Susan some nice, fresh, cut courgettes. Oh, and a beetroot. Shall I take them through to her, shall I?
Richie suddenly remembers his instructions to make sure that Stan removes his boots, and is horrified to see that he has walked mud onto the living room carpet.
Oh shit, Stan! Don't move. That's the accent. Yeah, better take your boots off, quick, like. Come on, take your boots off.
All right, okay, lad. Oh, but it's only mud. It'll come off the carpet real easy, like.
Stella, come here, quick.
Stella comes back into the room in an irritated way.
What do you want, Richie? I'm busy helping Mum prepare the guacamole dip.
Stanley forgot to take his boots off.
Oh, hello, Stella. I'm Stan, but you can call me Spud, if you like.
Stella looks at both men with contempt.
And why are you dragging me in from the kitchen to tell me that? Or were you wanting a round of applause, perhaps?
Oh, well, help us out, Stella. Y'all can fix a bit of mud on a carpet, can't y'all?
And why would you think that, Richie?
Well, I thought, with your job in that you might, you might be able to sponge it out or something.
Oh, bloody hell. Do you have muddy footprints on the crotches of either of your trousers, by chance?
Both men involuntarily look down at their crutches.
I don't believe we do, Stella, love. It's just on carpet.
Well, I'm afraid my expertise in the stain department is restricted to crutches.
Oh, come on, Stella. Y'all do stains in other places, don't y'all?
There's a pause in the conversation, rather like the calm before the storm, and Stella erupts.
You stupid, ignorant, insensitive bastards.
Stella storms out the room, and a few moments later, Susan appears to see what Stella is so upset about.
Oh, hello, Susan. How are you, love? I bought you some nice courgettes and a beetroot.
Hello, Stanley. Thanks. Richie, what have you been saying to Stella? She's in floods in the kitchen.
I only asked her if she could sponge out a bit of mud from Spud's boots, and that got on the carpet, and then she went all,
Who's Spud?
That'll be me, Susan, love. They all call me Spud down the allotment. Socks.
Susan spots the mud on Stan's boots.
Oh, Richie, how could you? Have you got no sense, lad? You know how she's feeling about sponging lately.
Do you want me to sponge it out, Susan?
No, Richie, sponging will only make it worse. Just leave it to dry and we can hoover it up later. I am supposing it is only mud. Is it, Stanley?
Oh, aye, Susan. It's mostly mud, yeah.
I did ask you, Richie, before Stanley arrived, didn't I?
We got chatting about, and then his boots just completely slipped my mind.
Now, me socks are clean, Stella. All right, you'll have no trouble for me socks, love. I'll tell you that.
Well, just sit down and make yourself comfortable. Robert will be back soon.
Susan disappears back into the kitchen, and you can hear her trying to calm down Stella.
Sounds like you're in the doghouse, lad.
Yes, Bud. I think you might be right.
The two men sit silently on the couch together. Stanley.
Do you do much gardening, Richie? Suppose.
No, Stanley. Spud. I'm afraid I've got no green fingers at all.
Oh, it's a lot easier than you might think, lad. All you need to do is bed them in, feed them, water them, and watch their backs from much in the same way, you do bring up kids. You keep them grounded, fed, watered, keep them out of trouble best you can, like.
Then if you have done a good job, you dig them up and boil the life out of them.
Yes, good. Or if in the case of flowers, you put them in a vase and then you shut them off. So.
But then with kids, you keep them on a short lead, feed them, clothe them, and then when they get to 21 or 22, you hope they've cleared off so you can dig them up and kick them out.
Well, I can see sort of where you're going with your analogy, Richie, but I think seeing them settled into a nice job and then sending them on their way, might be a better way of putting it, lads.
Well, as I said, I'm not blessed with green fingers, I'm afraid. All kids come to that.
Oh, no, not many of your age are these days, Richie. Green fingers, I mean. But you know what? Give it a couple of years and you will be surprised how green your fingers get.
Do you mean when I'm old and I've got nothing else to get excited about?
Well, is that how you see me then, lad?
Oh, sorry, Stan.
Oh, don't worry, lad. I'm only messing with your answer. I know gardening's not everyone's cup of tea, is it?
Susan comes back into the room and with more food for the table. She glances out of the window.
Oh, I can see Mrs. Jenkins. That's good. Everyone will have arrived when Robert gets back with his mother.
Susan goes to the front door to let her in.
Betty, lovely to see you. Come in. Why didn't you come round the back? You've got a key for the back door.
Yes, Mrs. H, but I felt as today I wasn't the hired help, but as an honoured guest, I felt I should enter through the front door if that's all right. It's a small gift for you, Cynthia.
Oh, thanks. There was no need. And of course it's fine, Betty, just as it should be. I just didn't want you to be kept waiting at the front door to be let in when you have a key for the back door. Come through. Betty, this is my son-in-law, Richie, and this is Stanley, Robert's friend from the allotment.
Betty, love, I didn't know I met you today.
You know each other?
Oh, of course, because we do. Know each other the best parts of 15 years, haven't we, eh?
Hello, Spud. Didn't expect to see you either.
Oh, well, if you'll excuse me.
Susan disappears back into the kitchen. Betty inspects the table.
Not much homegrown fodder on that table, Spud.
I did bring courgettes and a beetroot. Maybe Susan's doing something with them in the kitchen. How's your patch looking, Bets? Is it looking good?
Oh, fine, Spudley, just fine. I've got a marrow bigger than your upper thigh.
Whoa!
And who did Susan say you were, love?
Oh, I'm Richie, Stella's...
Oh, you're the Richie Susan speaks so affectionately about.
Am I? I mean, yes, I suppose I probably am, yeah.
I speak as I find, Richie. And I've known Susan and Stella for a good few years now. You must have a lot on your plate, lad.
How do you mean?
Betty says nothing, just rubs Richie's arm.
Have you heard anything from the council about getting that bloody jacuzzi removed from plot 7 yet, Stan?
God, it's all bloody politics if you ask me. Council's frightened if they do anything, it might start costing them brass.
Bloody jacuzzi? Who'd ever heard of a bloody jacuzzi on an allotment?
I quite fancy a jacuzzi, but Stella says them at 43 would be taking pictures of her getting in and out from their upstairs bedroom window. Yeah, I know. She says she don't think you can get in and out of a jacuzzi can be achieved in a ladylike fashion. She says there's too many of them opportunities for an indiscreet photo to be taken when getting in and out of the jacuzzi. And it would prevent her from relaxing when getting in, knowing that she'd have to negotiate getting out again at some point without making a spectacle of herself. That could be exploited by them at number 43.
Oh. You know what? I don't even have a problem with the jacuzzi if it's located in the right place. And seems to me Stella is of a similar opinion. A jacuzzi situated in a secluded part of the garden, not overlooked by prying eyes, can be a nice way to relax of an evening. Oh. Although I share her thought about getting in and out of it without making a spectacle of yourself. But a bloody jacuzzi has no place on an allotment. It doesn't. It takes up most of your growing area. It's an eyesore, causes noise, people laughing, shouting, splashing about. An allotment is no place for having fun. It's bloody hard work if you do it right.
Isn't splashing about a bit like watering, though? You know, something I thought might be essential for an allotment.
No, lad, it's the chemicals they put in water jacuzzi that causes the problem.
Red leaf.
Red
spot.
leaf spots, yeah. And blossom end rot.
Don't forget the curly top virus.
Oh, bloody downy mildew, Christ.
Oh, give me for all me cucumbers, bloody downy mildew.
And don't forget the trouble we had with powdery mildew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'd forgotten when we had a dose of that.
Oh.
Nearly did for all the allotments that did. Took bloody ages to get rid of that, did it, Richie?
Oh, right, oldest plant disease on record, powdery mildew. Goes back as far as 300 BC.
You know what? It went back as far as my cauliflowers. That was far enough for me, Spud. Plus, it's not only the chemicals in the water we're talking about here, Richie.
No.
I think she's referring to bodily fluids, Richie lad.
Spud, even if it was just water, getting that amount spreading out everywhere when they drain the bloody thing out, or even when it springs a leak, and they all bloody leak eventually, well, it would cause untold devastation to all the other plots in its general vicinity.
That don't seem right.
Bloody don't I? I told you, Spud, when they took Jim's greenhouse down and started to make the shed bigger, I just knew they were up to something.
You did, Betty. You did, Betty, you did. You were very vocal on subject, as I remember.
Who's ever heard of a veranda being built on the south-facing side of a shed?
So, who's doing all this then? Who's?
Well, it's all those bloody affluent flat dwellers from London.
Aye.
To get back to nature and the wide open spaces that they've denied there. See, most of them don't have gardens, you see, Richie. So all those city dwellers, they're looking for a quiet country life at the weekends.
Head to Bromsgrove.
Or somewhere similar.
Just then, Susan and Stella come into the room with plates of food. Susan starts to arrange the food on the table, and Stella disappears back into the kitchen to bring more food. Soon the table is looking ready. Richie, Betty and Stanley get up and walk around the table examining the food.
So looks very nice, Susan. What have we got here then?
Well, we have an aubergine and coconut curry, a fennel, feta and orange salad, mushroom, goat cheese and tarragon tartlets, butternut and orzo risotto, a cheesy zucchini casserole, and for after we have an avocado chocolate mousse. There's beer and wine and some fish for toasting mum later.
Oh. No courgettes or beetroot?
The menu was already arranged, Stanley, but I'm sure we'll enjoy them on another occasion. Now, I suggest we all take our places before Robert and Mum get here. Stella, give William a call, will you please? He's in his room with Annabelle.
Stella leaves the room and can be heard shouting for William to come down.
William!
While the assembled guests start to take their places round the table. Stella comes back into the room.
Oh, no, please, sorry, everyone. I should have said. I thought if we sat in alphabetical order around the table, it might be fun and make for a more interesting evening, conversation-wise.
Excuse me, Susan. Do we use our first names or our second names to determine alphabetically where we're supposed to sit?
Good thinking, Richard lad. We don't want any confusion when the guests want to arrive, do we? We need to leave hers and Bobby's space vacant.
Who's Bobby?
Only your dad, lass. Only your dad. Oh, but that's another problem. If we use first names, do we use real first names or nicknames, or are we only using surnames, Susan?
I'm sorry, but we can't use surnames, can we?
Can't we?
Richie, there'll be 4 Harveys and 2 Fosters for a start.
I thought you were ordering a round of drinks for a moment then, Susan. Hey, oh, like that.
Ordering drinks, Stanley. I'm not with you. It's just have yourself with drinks tonight.
Oh, no, I was just testing with you, Susan. No, it just made me smell like,
What did?
5 Harveys, 2 Fosters. It sounds like a round of drinks, doesn't it?
Does it?
We could still use surnames, but include our first names in an alphabetical tiebreak situation.
Oh, Richie.
That Stella shouts, but noticing that everyone was looking at her, spoke a little more quietly when she continued.
Darling, if we use first names as a tiebreak, maybe as well as first names in the first place, do you see?
Oh, okay then. First names it is. No worries.
Use first names or what someone is normally known as.
Ah, good point, Betty, love. You know, where would I sit? Because I was christened Stanley, but everyone mostly calls me Sports.
Oh, God. Use first names, okay? Not nicknames. No abbreviations, no surnames. So, we'll sit in a clockwise arrangement. Annabelle will sit... Where are William and Annabelle? Stella, give him another shout, please. Maybe they didn't hear the first time.
I'll bloody go up there and drag him the lazy little wig get here by the scuff of his hair.
Oh, no, Stella, don't go in his room.
Why not? What's he doing up there?
The other guests all look a little awkward.
Just knock on his door and tell them Gran will be here any moment.
Stella pulls her face and stomps out of the room.
So, Annabelle will sit second to the left of the table near the top end when she's come down. Betty, if you could sit next to Annabelle, that will put Robert's mum at the head of the table.
Susan could see the confusion gathering in where all the others would sit. So she continues to spell out where everyone should be sitting.
Right, Richie, you go next, then Robert can sit next to you, and Stanley, you go next to Robert.
Richie sits down, followed by Stanley, who sits next to him.
No, Stanley.
Stanley looks at the table and then at Susan.
You're in Robert's place.
Oh.
Stanley moves to the adjacent chair, looking a little sheepish. Stella comes back into the room, closely followed by William and an equally sheepish Annabelle. William sits down at the end of the table and Annabelle sits next to him. Everyone shouts at the pair, advising them that they cannot sit where they have positioned themselves. Unfortunately, everyone shouts something different into total confusion. Annabelle jumps up.
Guys, what you doing? Come on.
No,
Sorry, I still don't get if I know Stanley.
Annabelle jumps up, knocking over her
I'll
empty
just call
wine
this one.
glass. And William looks confused and then lets his head drop onto his plate.
Get your head up, William. And when you move, take that plate with you. People don't want to eat the food off a plate with it had your greasy head spin all over.
Susan composes herself again and then continues.
Right, we're sitting alphabetically round the table, William. Annabelle, you sit next to Betty.
Betty indicates with a smile where Annabelle should sit. Annabelle moves her place to Betty.
Hello, you're the cleaner, ain't you?
Oh, not tonight, love. I came in via the front door this evening.
Where do I sit then? I really would like to sit next to Annabelle.
Oh, for God's sake, William, how old are you? Just sit in your assigned place.
Oh, okay. And where is that then, Brian of Britain?
Stella suddenly realises she doesn't know where he was to sit.
Oh, tell Chimp Boy where to sit, Mum.
Stella, you sit next to Stanley. I'll sit next to Stella. William, you sit where you were.
Oh, so it's okay for me to sit there now, is it? Right. Okay. Better move me greasy plate black as well, then, shall I? Why do I have to sit so far away from Annabelle?
Everybody.
Alphabetical seating.
Oh, for Christ's sake, alphabetical seating.
Right. William sits down and gazes up at the far end of the table where Annabelle looks back at him. With everyone now sitting in their allotted places, there's an awkward silence. The silence is broken by a car horn sounding and the sound of the car turning into the drive.
Oh, here's Robert.
And our guest of honour. I don't think I've seen Cynthia since the allotment Christmas get together. Good one.
Oh, she's an absolutely lovely lady. She's doing so well for her age. How old is she?
79, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so this isn't her actual birthday then?
Oh.
No, it was just a bit difficult fitting it in on the day.
The door opens and in comes Robert, closely followed by Cynthia. Robert is carrying a huge cool box. Stanley, Betty, Annabelle and Richie break into a rendition of Happy Birthday, with the rest joining in.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
birthday,
dear
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, Tar, but it's not my birthday today. My birthday was 2 weeks ago. Although you'd never know by the number of cards I received. Got one a week late with a second-class stamp on it.
Oh,
Oh, that was bad form, Cynthia, love. Getting a card late is sometimes unavoidable, but not with a second class stamp on it.
Cynthia turns to Betty and looks at her with a confused look on her face.
Sorry, who are you?
Are you joking, Bab? You don't recognise me?
This is Betty, Mum. She comes here a couple of times a week to help me keep things together after Robert and William have left things in a muddle. She also has an allotment next to Jim's.
Oh, sorry, I didn't recognise you, Betty Bab. Not without your gardening jumper and stout walking boots. You're looking very regal this evening. How are you? How's the allotment going? Has anyone taken over my Jim's plot yet?
Oh, I'm afraid someone has, Sin, and I have to tell you, Jim is sorely missed down there.
Robert sits down in Cynthia's place and Cynthia talks with Betty.
What's happened then? I don't like to think of my Jim's hard work down there being undone.
Oh, just don't even get me started. I've got one word for you. Jacuzzi.
Susan spots that Robert is sitting in his place, in his mother's place, just a little too late, as Cynthia moves round the table and takes the only vacant space remaining.
Robert, you're sitting in the wrong place.
But there's no other places, Susan. Where else can I sit? Everyone's sitting in all the other places.
You're sitting in Mum's place.
Well, Mum's sitting there.
Alphabetical seating.
Come on.
Mum should be at the head of the table. Just swap with her.
Cynthia and Robert swap places.
Fine.
What's in the call box, Robert?
Oh, I almost forgot with all the swapping around. Mum's brought a contribution to the dinner party now.
Really? There was no need, Mum.
Oh, it's not a lot, just a few bits and pieces. Just stick it on the table, Robert.
Well, I did tell her there was no need to bring anything, but you know what she's like.
Robert tails off, opens the box and starts to put the food on the table. Robert seems to take an age as he takes 5 foil-covered dishes and squeezes them onto the already crowded table.
My, that looks a lot of food.
Oh, nothing too much, Susan. Just some chicken legs and sausages, some roast potatoes, some leftover bubble and squig. Oh, and a sherry trifle for pudding.
She's brought a bloody roast dinner. OK, everyone. No standing on ceremony. Get started. Can I serve anyone with some aubergine and coconut curry, or perhaps some butternut and also risotto? Stanley?
Oh, Joyce.
I'll,
I think I'll start with the sausages and then chicken leg, if I may, Susan. And let me know.
Richie?
Oh, I'll try some sausages and chicken legs as well, Susan, please. Love bubble and squig. And those spuds look lush, Gran.
Robert reaches for the sausages.
Robert!
Robert looks guilty.
Curry, please, Susan. It looks bloody lovely.
Susan, Stella and Annabelle help themselves to the vegetarian food, while William, Betty, Cynthia finish off the chicken, sausages, roast potatoes and bubble and squig. The scene fades. We're still in the Harvey's lounge dining room. It's still Wednesday, but very much later in the evening. The food has been mostly consumed. Only the vegetarian options remain half-eaten. Stanley gives Cynthia her birthday present.
Just a little something, Cynthia, love. Nothing special, don't get too excited.
It's an old saying, I know, but this is still very appropriate at a time like this. It's the thought that counts, Spudley. It's the bloody thought that counts. Thanks, my lovely.
You are very welcome, Cynthia.
Cynthia unwraps her presents. It's oven gloves.
Do you like them? They've got NASA technology in them.
Have they really? Does that mean
Yeah.
they've been up into space? Oh, how exciting.
Well, I'm not sure of it, but probably not all the way up into space, like, but, you know.
Oh, that's disappointing. So if they haven't been to space, how have they got NASA technology in them?
Well, I think, what Spud means is that the fibres were developed for use in space and subsequently been adopted for everyday use for the general public. Simple.
Yeah, like the coating for non-stick frying pans. That was developed for space travel.
Cynthia examines the gloves closely.
Can you fry bacon in these oven gloves then, if they're non-stick?
No, simple. Frying pans are different. Fibres in the oven gloves that were created to withstand the heat generated when the spaceship, upon re-entry into the atmosphere,
Does it get hot on the way back then? I only thought it would get hot on the way up. What with all that fire coming out the arse end of the rocket? And on account of pointing it towards the sunlight, I thought it would probably get much cooler coming back, especially if it was raining or at night.
Well, Mum, I think, Mum, the nose cone basically the spacecraft can reach temperatures of 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit upon re-entry, apparently.
As the actress said to the bishop.
No, Betty, let's keep the party clean.
Everyone laughed. Richard and Susan a little awkwardly.
My cooker can go up to 200 degrees.
Oh, no, don't get confused with centigrade and Fahrenheit, Gran. You've got to double it and add 32 to get Fahrenheit. Or does it take away?
Don't be daft, Richie. Even a centigrade equivalent temperature for re-entry from space would be somewhere in the region of
1,648.89 degrees centigrade.
Well, I don't want my cooker to get that hot. Everything will come out all dried up. It'd be impossible to fry a medium steak.
It's okay, Gran. I like mistakes well done.
So do I, Richie love, but no, you can get your fancy ovens that go up to those sort of temperatures. I'm happy with something that can boil an egg, crisp up bacon nicely, and cook a nice Sunday roast.
Cynthia looks at the oven guns a little uncertainly. Betty passes Cynthia her present.
Oh, you're spoiling me. What's this one? I wonder, something else from outer space?
No, I settled for some old-fashioned, plain and simple chocolates. They're new, but very nice, I'm told.
Cynthia opens a large box of chocolates and looks at the box.
Old Nappy's chocolate.
Cynthia looks puzzled.
No, Mum, they're called Old in Naples chocolate. They look very nice.
Looks like it says Nappies to me.
It's because you've written the L in Naples funny, Gran.
Is it? Oh, well, I'm sure they're very nice. Thanks, Betty Bab.
Right, well, a toast, everybody. Is everyone topped up, yeah?
All right.
Glasses are refilled all round.
Fine. Well, Mum, I'm sure I speak for everyone here this evening when I say a very special happy birthday. And may there be many, many more. Happy birthday, Mum.
Happy birthday.
Birthday!
Speech!
Come on.
Well, Granny's speech.
I don't know about speeches, but thanks, Robert and Susan, for hosting this evening. Thanks to everyone who's been accepted their invitation and for your very interesting gifts.
You've got a couple more from the family still to arrive, Cynthia. Should be here any day now.
More lateness from my own family. In my day, that would have been called tardy, Robert.
Sorry, Mo, interrupted you there. Sorry, Mo, most unfortunate, but you know what a post is like these days.
Don't you start blaming the poor old postie, Robert Harvey. I'm almost nearer my next birthday than my last one.
Now, Mum, don't exaggerate. Come on.
It's the thought that counts, Cynthia. So what if it's your birthday today, as long as we can celebrate with you?
I know, Betty, but a birthday, the day you're actually born, so to speak, is an important day. I may have died between my birthday and tonight. Then you'd have all been attending me wake, not a belated birthday dinner.
It's a sobering thought, that, Synth, love. Oven gloves and chocolates wouldn't have been much use to you in those circumstances, would it?
Well, it depends on my direction of travel, Spud, love. If Pearly Gates were my destination, you're probably right. On the other hand, if I was off to the other place with the fire and brimstone, I could see them oven gloves coming in very handy. Not so much the chocolates, though. No, my point is, The card would have been only a few days later if a first-class stamp had been stuck on the envelope. A late birthday card can in some circumstances be overlooked, but not if it's sent with only a second-class stamp. That's like buying someone a budgie, but not a cage to keep it in. Or
giving a blind person a guide dog has to be carried everywhere.
You're so weird, William. You do know that, don't you?
Why would you have to carry the guide dog, William?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's got arthritis or something. I don't know. I'm sure a guild dog would have been given a full medical before they were, sent out guiding people around about Will. See?
My gran went on a river cruise up the Rhine Valley for her 87th birthday and had a lovely time. However, 3 days after getting back home, she dropped dead, dragging coal in from the coal shed in her back garden. She was found by me dad a few hours later, spread face down across the kitchen floor with a sack of coal on her back. On the same day, a card was delivered through the door, and it had a second-class stamp on it.
See? A first-class stamp, and she'd have got a card before she died.
Actually, it didn't turn out too bad, Gran. The card was from one of Nan's friends and was sent to wish her a happy holiday.
How, in any way, could that not be? How could that be considered not upsetting?
Well, on the front of the card was a picture of an old lady with a suitcase waving out the window of a plane with fluffy clouds, a blue sky, and a big sun, with the words "Bon voyage" with an exclamation mark. And on the inside, it just said "Safe journey." Mom was very moved, said it was a special sign that all was well and that Gran was okay.
Okay, but unfortunately still dead.
Mom put the card up with all the other condolence cards on Nan's mantelpiece, and probably if it had had a first-class stamp on it, it wouldn't have arrived on the day it did. It would have arrived a few days earlier and would have been a sad reminder of her last holiday. But arriving on the day she died gave it that special meaning. Do you see? Bon voyage.
Yes, love. Very sad, but it's a lovely story.
No.
Not only was my card late, but it said, "Wishing you a happy birthday." And there was a bloke fishing on the front.
Oh, no.
No.
Surely not.
Do you know what? We are so sorry, Mum. It was sent in error. I'm sorry.
Where? Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry, Mum. I bought 2 cards, one for you and the other for Cousin Barry. I got his card mixed up with yours.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I opened that card. I had to sit down. I nearly had one of my turns. Wishing you a happy birthday.
Oh, no, I can imagine how you must have felt, Mum. It wasn't until after we posted your card we discovered the mistake, I really didn't know what to do for the best. I wasn't sure.
Desecrated the memory of your own father, Robert. It is widow's birthday card. What more is there to say or do?
Sorry, but am I the only person who doesn't know what this is all about? I thought you liked fishing, Gran. Fishing you a happy birthday, it sounds nice.
Before your time, Richie lad. Although I'm a bit surprised no one's related the story to you. I did like a spot of fishing, but not anymore. I can't go anywhere near the river, especially that bloody Severn.
It was just too horrible, Nan. I hate even thinking about it now. How long has it been?
Oh, God, it must have been at least, 6 years ago now, isn't it, Sin?
No, more like 8 years, I would say.
It will be 7 years, 3 months, 3 weeks exactly next Monday.
What, Will?
Granddad's passing.
Passing where?
For God's sake, Richie, don't you engage your brain before speaking sometimes?
Died. He died, Richie. He died fishing.
Oh.
Cynthia looks for a handkerchief in her bag, takes it out and blows her nose.
I'm sorry.
There was quite a stir in these parts at the time, I seem to remember.
Certainly did. It was in all them local papers, made local TV as well, didn't it?
Yeah, Channel 5 wanted to do a reconstruction for their Fishing Trips from Hell series. I wasn't convinced that they would treat it sensitively enough. It was just too soon after the event. It was all still too raw.
What exactly happened, Nan? You know, did he drown? Did he die from a big fish bite?
Oh, don't be so daft, Richie. Fish don't bite.
Some fish in the Amazon do, Susan, love. Bloody piranha fish. Bloody hell, they can give you a nasty nip if you don't want one. Those bloody things can eat you alive if you hang around too long.
I saw a documentary about the Amazon rainforest. And this bloke, he was walking in the rainforest and he found himself stumbling into the Amazon River. And when he came out of water, half his leg was missing.
No. I think you're getting mixed up, mate, with that film Piranha Spud. How could he walk out of the Amazon if he only had one leg and it had been eaten?
They all eat the flesh, Richie lad. They don't eat through the bone. Come on.
Oh, right.
But Jim wasn't fishing in the Amazon, though, was he? And I don't think there were piranhas in the River Severn.
I take your point, Susan, but in Richie's defence, I was just making a point that some fish can give you a nastiness.
You're right.
Richie lad, Jim knew a smashing spot on the River Severn in Bicton, half an hour drive from here. He loved to fish there. Flying fish was what he enjoyed most. There'd been a heavy rain for the past few weeks and the river was fast running. River levels were unusually high, perfect conditions for fly fishing. He had his full wet weather gear on and he had waded waist deep into the river. It appears that during the late afternoon he had an out of the blue heart attack and they think he toppled over into the river. They reckon that the air within his wet weather gear kept him afloat and the current did the rest, took him face down, off down the river. He never stood a chance, poor sod.
How terrible. How did they get him out?
Well, it was late evening and getting dark before the alarm was raised. We found his car, tackle bag, flask and his sandwiches, nets and rod very quickly. But there was just no sign of Jim. So we called the police. But because it was getting dark when they turned up, they said that there was little they could do until it got light.
Oh, what an awful situation to find yourself in, Nan. I'm sorry.
What could I do on my own? I called Robert and I told him, but there was nothing any of us could do. The first sighting was about 7:30 next morning when someone telephoned the police to say they'd seen someone floating in the Severn.
Oh, this is really terrible.
Oh, it got worse, Betty, you know. The police then told us they had a call saying someone had spotted someone floating on the north side of Shrewsbury. So we all rushed over there. But they had another call saying someone was spotted in the river on the south of the town.
My blood ran cold that morning. Poor Jim.
We all raced over there with the police escort, ambulances, blue lights, the lot. But nothing, no sign of my Jim. Later that morning, we got news that someone had reported someone floating in the river in Gloucester. And seeing as Gloucester's in the next county, the Worcestershire police said Jim was now under the care of the Gloucestershire Constabulary. I think they were just glad that Jim was out of their bit of the river.
Were you how sure these sightings were of Grandad?
Not completely,
No.
but we had nothing left to go on. The police were poking around in the river when we found Jim's stuff, but I knew he wasn't going to be there. Later that day, we heard there'd been a sighting in the Bristol Channel, and poor Jim was declared a hazard to shipping, and the Bristol police took over the search.
Never understood how they thought it could be a hazard to shipping, though. I mean,
I think as this sighting of Dad was I've lost the accent. I think as this sighting of Dad was only unconfirmed sighting. You know, the police had to treat him as an unexplained object. I suppose they thought he could have been an unexplored mine or something. You know.
Well, next we heard they thought there'd been a sighting of Jim round Land's End and heading up the English Channel. That's when the Bristol police handed Jim over to Air Sea Rescue. They did at least pull out all the stops. There were helicopters, spotter planes, and the Newquay and Falmouth lifeboats were launched. Not sure they weren't just looking after the tourist trade, though. I think they just didn't want my Jim coming ashore on Whitesands Bay and scaring off the holiday makers.
And if that's where they found him, is it?
No, lad. They had the lot out there looking for him, but none of them spotted him.
You mean no one found him?
None of those who should have found him, no. But a small boat with 6 Japanese tourists out fishing for the afternoon. Well, let's just say they caught more than they bargained for. They caught my Jim, brought him home for me. I was very grateful to those kind Japanese. They'd have thrown him back, I suppose. So I thanked them and said sayonara to the Japanese and Jim at the same time. The Japanese bloke who hooked him had to be treated for shock, and they took him and Jim in the same ambulance back to Bristol Hospital.
And see now why fishing you a happy birthday card was a little inappropriate, Mum.
Oh, shut it, William. Leave Mum alone. Everyone's upset about it, but it's Grand's birthday celebration. We don't want you messing it up.
I'm sorry, but a story like that's not, so inducive to continue the evening with party games and good old sing-song.
Oh, just shut it, frog spawn.
Oh, leave the lad alone, Stella. He's a thinker, not a stinker.
What does that mean? He thinks and washes himself?
He's a thought. What is a thought? Why do northern people towns have to cake?
See, you're weird, William. You're just plain weird.
Says the woman named after 2 different lagers. If you and Richie ever had kids, you're going to call them Miguel or Bud. Maybe your daughter would be called Estrella. You can be restricted by choice. There would be other names as well with alcohol flavour you might like to consider, like Gordon, Ginny, Jack or Daniel. Maybe Remy.
That's enough, William. Now you're being a thinker and a stinker.
There was those around the table all laughed, including Stella and William.
Well, despite everything, I have to say I've enjoyed myself this evening. I've still got lovely thoughts of my dear Jim, and you lot too. But I think I'll make my way home now. That's okay with you, Robert?
Yeah, that's fine. Is anyone else going our way?
Oh, that's very nice of you, Robert. Top up. But I know Spudley just lives around the corner from me.
Well, thank you, Robert. I'm delighted to accept your kind invitation. You have a roof rack on your car, perchance?
You know what? I do, as it happens, my friend.
Oh, great. I can shove me back on it then.
Ah, lovely.
The scene fades and everybody leaves the table. We now move to the Harvey's kitchen, much, much later that evening. Susan and Robert are clearing away the dirty plates and glasses in the dishwasher. Susan rinses and Robert stacks.
I'm so sorry, Robert. That card must have given Mum quite a start.
I should have taken more notice of it, to be fair. I'm to blame just as much.
Do you think she enjoyed the evening?
Well, do you know, I think so. We're a little more sophisticated than Mum and her mates, and perhaps we used to, but I think the evening went quite well. I'm sure they all had a lovely time.
Susan hands Robert some plates and he bends down to load them into the dishwasher. As he bends down, he does a fart.
What on earth was that, Robert? What on earth was that, Robert?
It's those bloody aubergine and coconut curry, Susan. Bloody lethal.
Thank you very much.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Brilliant.
That was fun. Josh, I have to